There we go. Yo, yo. What's up? Welcome to the creator commentary for How Rockets Break Mario Sunshine. Please excuse my appearance a little bit. I left my one and only hairbrush in my dad's car, and I do not have access to that car, so my hair is a little bit wild today. Additionally, I also am getting over a bit of a cold, so my voice might sound a little hoarse. I might be clearing my throat a lot. I might be doing this off screen to wipe my nose a lot. So yeah, my apologies. So before we get into the video, as always, drink check. Water, as always, classic. Can't go wrong with a good old giant cup of water. And we're repping the Diet Coke today. Honestly, questionable choice. I'm not a big fan of Diet Coke. It's like palatable for me. It just to me doesn't taste like regular Coke. And I don't even like regular Coke that much either. Or maybe looking to see if there's something in this I can enjoy, but I don't think so. It's really the aftertaste. Like, is it just me or does the aftertaste, like, to me it tastes like what artificial like salmon flavoring would taste like if it was in a candy or something, which is disgusting. So yeah. So, How Rockets Break Mario Sunshine was a video, I think when I can't remember. I think I just like became curious one day and started looking into rockets. And I just noticed all these weird properties with rockets and decided, you know what, I could probably make an entire Sunshine Experiments video about this, especially because at this point it had been a long time since the last Sunshine Experiments, the last full one anyways. Additionally, the script, I took a bit of a different direction for this script than I usually do. I tried to have a bit more of like a stream of conscious type of thing. At the time, I think I'd just been through a binge of rewatching a lot of the old Vsauce videos. And the thing about those videos is that he starts off with one interesting topic and then he goes to the next thing and the next thing. And then you can end up at a completely different place by the middle of the video, by the end of the video. But there is like a stream of consciousness there. And I kind of like felt inspired by that while I was writing the script. So that's why this script is maybe a little bit, for a lack of a less offensive term, it's a little like ADHD of just like jumping around from place to place. Yeah, my apologies. I don't mean to use that derogatorily. Anyways, I think we can start getting into the video now. It's just a cold open, which is pretty cool.
Yo, water rockets are weird. Curtains closed. Thanks for watching. No. But for real,
That's funny. Oops. Sorry, my mouse also has a double click problem, so stuff like that might be happening a bit more often. Or here, I can just fully rewind here.
Yo, water rockets are weird. Curtains.
You can tell this is just a clip of the curtains rising, but backwards, because you can just see the piantas moving backwards.
Closed. Thanks for watching.
I, for some reason, didn't feel compelled enough to find a way to get this clip without the pianta in it, which, you know, there's a dozen probably different ways I could have chosen to do that, but I didn't feel compelled to. You can also see the editing here is actually a bit flawed. At the bottom of the rocket, you can still see the checkerboard, sort of. You might not be able to see this, but it's like, you can see like the yellow checkerboard right here, the red checkerboard, yellow, red, just tiny lines of it. The way I did this is just in editing. I think I created a custom mask for this curtain, which seems a little psycho now that I think about it, but yeah. Okay, so I almost just went on and continued watching the video, but I just remembered, since this is a video I made in DaVinci Resolve, I still have the timeline. Now, obviously, there's a lot of missing clips because I have to like delete a lot of clips that I'm done using. Nowadays, I kind of keep some B-roll stuff, but back then I didn't keep pretty much anything unless it was just like a picture or something or an image. So this is the curtains closing clip, I think. If I open this in Fusion, it's like the After Effects. Yeah, okay. So it's actually kind of hard to exactly show this off, but yeah, here's the curtain mask. So this, as the clip went on, this fell down. Yeah, so I like manually made each of these points and manually keyed this frame by frame. So that's actually what's going on there. Yeah, I find that really cool that I'm able to show that off actually for once, like the masking stuff that I do. Unfortunately, you don't really get to see the full extent of this clip, but yeah, at least the audio is all intact.
Yo, water rockets are weird.
Isn't that
Curtains
cool?
Closed. Thanks for watching.
Anyways, let's go back to the actual video, and I'll like dip in and out of that timeline to show you some cool stuff throughout this video.
No. But for real, water rockets are weird. They only appear in 2 levels throughout the game, which are...
Actually, that's already a cool thing.
For real, water rockets are weird.
That sound right there. So this sound right here that plays in the video as the screen changes right here.
Water rockets are weird.
That sound. That is... So here, if I come to this and then... That's just Super Mario World, like, goalpost sound. But super pitched up, and you wouldn't be able to guess. But yeah, so that's like the type of cool things I can show you when I actually have the timeline.
They only appear on 2 levels throughout the game, which are the 2 roller coaster levels, of course. But did you know that in some...
By the way, I think I started doing stuff like that in Road to 119 videos with the sounds. I do things like that all the time now. I repurpose a lot of Super Mario World sounds in videos.
In some ways, Sunshine considers them as enemies. Sure, while they can't hit Mario or...
Fun thing right here, I have that image. I tried to make this look as much like the style of Sunshine, the painted on stuff on the wall. I based it off of this. I just overlaid it on top of this, or at least the outline. So yeah, pretty cool.
Or be stomped on by Mario.
Oh yeah, and these are
really
obviously
affect Mario at all in any...
not Goombas. What are they called? They're obviously the stews.
For while they can't hit Mario or be stomped on by Mario or really affect Mario at all in any of the ways that
Obviously slowed down clip right here.
a traditional enemy would, it turns out that it's a bit of a different story for Yoshi. Yeah, Yoshi can eat rockets. But that's not all, because Yoshi can also spray
I found that on accident, by the way.
rockets to turn them into platforms, which traditionally is a role that only enemies play in this game. Oh yeah, not to mention that the game's code also treats rockets as enemies.
Oh yeah, and by the way, obligatory, while I discovered most of this stuff on my own, I don't believe I was the first person to discover, like, the Yoshi behaviors and stuff. I'm not 100% sure, honestly, but yeah.
At points, none...
Oh, by the way, what's going on here? I think the rockets, so in like coding terms, they abstract from T small enemy, which is an object type. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it has to do with like how it uses its hitbox or whatever. I'm not really sure.
Now Yoshi, you wait right there. We're not done with you yet. I still have something cool to show them. However, one of the strangest things of all...
Oh yeah, and the whole Yoshi thing too. I tried some like storytelling stuff here. The reason for that, okay, so at this point in time with this video, I was engagement maxing. That's what this is. But you know, I don't like how a lot of engagement maxing is on YouTube, you know, with loud sound effect every 2 seconds and make sure to have an edit every 2 seconds on average and stuff like that. I find that to be brain rotting. So my theory here was that, okay, so if I like tell a mini story about Yoshi throughout this video, maybe some people will be interested to like watch to the end. That was my theory there. I tried to engage with Max in an ethical way, I guess, that doesn't like completely just hijack your brain. So that's what that was. I also thought it was a fun like challenge to try and add a little bit of storytelling into this, and in a way that was different from the previous Super Mario Sunshine experiments, because that's the thing with this video as compared to the previous ones, particularly the ones before the demo disc, like the classic ones. The storytelling in those videos was specifically about the process of discovery, basically, like kind of the emotions and discoveries I went through and kind of retold in the video. Whereas in this video, that's obviously a completely different thing. The whole like Yoshi saga that goes on here, which is, I still worry it's a little, I can't think of the exact word, but it feels a little bit fake, you know? It feels a little tacked on. So yeah.
When it comes to rockets is that when you place a rocket manager object into a level, which you don't really need to know much about, it's just an invisible object that must accompany...
Most objects, or at least a lot of objects in Sunshine, require a manager in the level. I don't really know why that's how they decided to do that and not just have an automatic manager when the related enemy or object, I guess, is put into the level. Rushed game, I guess, I don't know.
Rockets when they're put into a level, then a bunch of rockets will be placed seemingly at random. However, it's not random. The rockets are in fact being placed at predetermined locations. It's just that those predetermined locations weren't meant for rockets, but instead as paths for enemies, specifically these guys. Without giving...
So at first, for a while doing the research for this video, I'm writing the script. Usually for these videos, I kind of write the script, or I kind of like do the research, then write the script. But as I'm writing the script, I kind of fact check. And I think this is one of the things I fact checked with the script and then learned I was completely wrong, because I thought that the rockets were just being placed at where they normally are placed on the roller coaster in Pita Park, if that makes sense. If the first rocket on the roller coaster is at 0, 0, then a rocket would be at 0, 0 here in Bianco, and then if the next one is at 100, 200, then the next rocket would be at 100, 200, and actually it's an XYZ, not just XY, but you know what I mean, right? I realized that it very obviously wasn't the case, because I would notice rockets and patterns that very clearly weren't the roller coaster pattern.
A lesson on how rails work in Sunshine, this is a pretty good video to watch if you're interested. You can see that here in the plaza, these rockets have been placed on the path the Goombas like to travel.
Oh, fun fact about this clip actually. So usually Goombas have a very short lifespan, and especially when the clip is super fast forwarded, these guys should be dying like pretty soon, right? They shouldn't just be following this rail. Which, by the way, I didn't know these guys followed rails until this video. This video is actually my awakening that almost all the AI in this game just follows rails, or at least, you know, attempts to. And then when it can't follow rails, the AI is just really stupid. So while we're working on this video, I think I was like working on something SMSO related with Matthew. So we both were like, you know, kind of in the workflow of modding Sunshine. So I just like asked him, hey, would you mind while I'm working on this video to make me a Gecko code that makes the lifespan of these Goomies like way longer? And he obliged and made it for me. So yeah, so I got this clip because usually the lifespan was just way too short to be able to demonstrate that they follow these rails.
See that here in the plaza, these rockets have been placed on the path the Goombas like to travel. Same here in Bianco and also in Rico. This is probably a leftover functionality of rockets if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, I kind of didn't explain this very well. It made sense in my head, I think, when I wrote it in the script, and then when listening back to this video, I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. So the implication here is that maybe rockets used to be placed on rails, and then I guess because the rockets just place on whatever rail they can find, that might have bugged the game when they were adding rails for the bullet bills maybe. So they decided to make just a different system for the rockets. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Or maybe this is just like some weird bug that wasn't intended ever. I don't know.
In fact, did you know that water rockets were still being worked on until the very end of Sunshine's development? So this is something I kind of missed in my video about Sunshine's demo disc, which you can watch
I just missed.
right here, but water rockets actually behave quite differently here on the demo disc. Keeping in mind this demo disc came out not a month before Sunshine, this paints a pretty clear picture of how rushed things were for this game's development cycle. Anyways, to get back on topic, let me show you how rockets differ on the demo disc. For one, they shoot off much earlier than they do in Sunshine's release. You normally have to full press R to shoot off a rocket, but here on the demo disc, it's more like a half press.
I should have used an input mapper for this. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe it just didn't come to me.
All wouldn't be too bad if not combined with the fact that rockets will immediately shoot off the second you collect them. Rockets are not like that at all in the release of Sunshine. Otherwise, there's actually not much else.
Yeah, and in fact, it's like kind of like bait, because in normal Sunshine, speedrunning at least, what you actually want to do is slightly hold down the R button all the time with rockets, because for some reason, when you're like slightly pressing the R button down before you fire off a rocket, it makes it more accurate or something. I don't know if that's actually true. That's just what I was told back when I was learning how to speedrun this game. So when you switch over to the demo disc, if you're just doing normal Sunshine muscle memory, then you just automatically shoot the rockets off without wanting to. And it's actually really funny.
else to talk about with rockets on the demo disc. So the last thing I'll show you is that they do indeed work on Mecha Bowser the same way they always do and nothing special. Okay, so let's get back to Yoshi. I have a really cool... Well, he ran off, but that's okay.
So
we won't need him.
Okay. This is the thing with like the whole like weird Yoshi story thing I tried to tell here. I set it up here. Wow, I scrolled over like the exact part. Like 40 seconds into the video, I set it up, but you don't know it's going to be used as like some like weird story thing until literally like almost 2 minutes later, a minute and a half, a bit less than a minute and a half. But you know, that's like substantial length into the video before this is actually set up as like to, you know, engagement farm. That's such a, I feel like engagement farm implies that there's more bad faith put into this than there actually is. The intention, of course, was for engagement, but I still wanted to do something fun. I think you can farm for engagement while doing something fun and original, and or at least trying to do something fun and original, and doesn't just completely hijack your brain. I don't know, maybe that's not true.
Yeah. In the meantime, let's backtrack.
But yeah, anyways, I kind of forgot to actually end the original thought there. But yeah, I just think it's kind of weird that I waited until 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the 7-minute video to really set up this story point if the point of it was for engagement.
Just a little bit. While I was talking about the demo disc, you may have noticed Mario is able to collect and even shoot water rockets while on foot, kind of as if they were poinks. Speaking of poinks, let's talk about them really quickly. So despite poinks and water rockets sharing some superficial similarities, they don't really share any behaviors. For instance, poinks can't hurt Mecha Bowser and rockets won't wake up Petey. But can you wake up Wiggler with either rockets or poinks? No, of course not. And
fun fact about this is something like the poink thing. I tested this I think before I began doing the research for this water rocket episode, like I was just curious because I think there's a beta clip hanging around somewhere of this game where Mario's shooting a point at Sleeping Wiggler. So I was like, wait, I wonder what happens. Is that like a functionality left in the game? No. I tried this on the demo disc as well, by the way, for anyone curious, and it's the same results. And I swear the first time I did this, the game crashed. I swear. Like as soon as the point hit Wiggler, it crashed. And so for the longest time I had this in my script, like, okay, but did you know when you shoot the point at Wiggler, the game will crash? So it actually might be that you're supposed to wake up Wiggler with the point, kind of like Sleeping Petey, but you know, blah, 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 blah. But then when I actually, you know, was getting the footage and writing the script, doing the fact checking, some point in that line of things, I tested this. I was like, oh, wait, this actually doesn't work the way I thought it did. So that's why I even tested this in the first place, because for the longest time I thought this crashed the game, and then I was like, well, you know, punks are kind of like rockets, so I can just put this in the Rockets Super Mario Sunshine Experiments, and then, yeah.
No, you can't do it with the sleeping Electro Koopa either. Man, there's a lot of sleeping enemies in this game.
That's just something I realized while writing the script. Like, wait, there actually are a ton of sleeping enemies in this game. That's kind of weird.
Huh. It looks like Yoshi still hasn't returned, so we're gonna head back to the natural habitat of both Water Rockets and Mecha Bowser. Well, sorta. You see, there are actually two levels with Mecha Bowser in them, one being the standard roller coaster level, and one being the level where you talk to the park manager before the roller coaster, which actually doesn't have rockets,
Cool,
but it does have a rocket out of bounds. Anyways, we're gonna be loading into that version of
by the way, that rocket, that spawns at where the rocket manager is. For some reason, the rocket manager always spawns one rocket, so
the park, although with some cheats so we can free roam. And of course,
there's a lot of stuff with the managers that have weird behaviors, like the Electro Koopa manager. It's always at 0-0 basically, because there's no reason to move the managers around. But if you do move it out of 0-0, or if you're in a level like a modded level or test 11 to SES where you actually can't go to 0-0-0, the Electro Koopa manager will actually shock you. It's kind of weird.
We're also going to be modding in some rockets. Now, let's take aim at Mecha Bowser and shoot. Man, was anybody else hoping that'd be more exciting? As it turns out, Mecha Bowser operates pretty much exactly the same as before. The only real difference is that on the last hit, the cutscene doesn't start and Mario doesn't get a shine sprite, which again is because we're not actually in the standard roller coaster level. But what happens when you hit Mecha Bowser one more time? Because we're not actually in.
Fun fact here. So because of the behavior that I explained as like an offhand note at the very end of the video, sometimes rockets will just respawn at where they exploded. And so you can, if you watch in this clip, just watch this rocket in the background. That's a rocket I missed on Mecha Bowser, I think.
On the last hit,
it just keeps respawning there and breaking immediately.
Which again is because we're not actually in the standard roller coaster level. But what happens when you hit Mecha Bowser one more time? Nothing happens. But wait, look closely. That rocket after imploding on Mecha Bowser, it didn't respawn correctly. You guys had better buckle yourselves in because we're about to go for a ride.
Yippee.
So, as it turns out, water rockets have an interesting similarity with water barrels, of all things. I just got back to doing this series, and I'm already talking about barrels again, and honestly, I actually wouldn't have it any other way. That aside, for those of you who've seen my Sunshine Experiments episode on barrels, you probably have a hunch as to what's going on here. You see, with the barrels, there's a glitch called a barrel stacking. Keeping it short, it's basically a glitch that teleports a barrel after Mario has placed it. Rockets, on the other hand, have a very similar, yet distinctly different behavior going on here. You see, when a rocket is shot and collides with the floor collision of an object, well, as you can see, instead of respawning where it should respawn, it respawns where—
I kind of didn't define what an object is here. Object used in the computer sciencey term, as I put it in one of the barrel episodes.
Just exploded. I will be calling this rocket stacking. It could have another name though, I just don't know. That's not all though, there's still more to rocket stack. If Mario is to collect the so-called stacked rocket and tries to shoot it again, it'll actually teleport off a flood and shoot from where it was stacked. What's interesting is that rocket stacking can actually happen in Vanilla Sunshine. In fact, since Mecha Bowser has actual standable collision, you can get your rocket stacked on Mecha Bowser, which actually happened to me during a speedrun. Here's the clip.
To my knowledge, this is the only time that's happened to me, by the way.
Well, oh, that's it in the roller coaster. Oh, wait.
Oh yeah, that's Minecraft wood stripping sounds, by the way.
Did it not? Oh, wait. Is it attached to Bowser? Yeah, it is. It is. That's something I'm going to be doing a Sunshine Experiments episode on at some point.
If you didn't notice—
Yeah. I was doing the research for this video when I did this speedrun, so it basically was just fresh in my mind that this could happen. Also, by the way, look at that color on the face cam. I used to have a color corrector on my face. Okay, well that's the wrong one. I forget what it was. I don't know. I guess I don't have it anymore. But I used to have a color corrector on my face that made it look, or like it might have been really bad green screen settings that just completely desaturated me and made me like look like I was in the dark, even though it was the same setup as I have right now with like 2 bright lights shining on me, and a green screen behind me. Oh my god, the double click. The double click, please. I need a new mouse.
Notice the rocket? That's okay. I didn't notice it during the run either. It actually got stacked on top of Mecha Bowser's leg, which got obscured by the machine's body. You can
Yeah, that's crazy. You can see that.
just barely see it here. Well, that's rocket stacking. Pretty cool stuff. Anyways, let's get back to the plaza, meet up with you. He's still gone. That's okay. That's okay.
I wonder if that makes me the first and perhaps only person to ever have done that. Like accidentally rocket stack on Bowser, realize the fact, and intentionally pull the rocket off of Mecha Bowser and use it against him. Curious.
Okay, I still have one more thing to show you guys that doesn't involve Yoshi.
These 2 things were added super late in the script because I realized I forgot to add them. And I think I already had made most of the video at this point. Like these 2 things are added like the day before upload or something, the miscellaneous facts. So if this like seems like kind of tacked onto the video, that's because it is.
For instance, what happens when Mario collects a water rocket with a different nozzle? Well, let's take a look.
Oh wait, no. I'm a bit early. That's actually not what this is.
With the hover nozzle, the rocket will attach to Flood's left nozzle. What's cooler is that as long as you don't do a hard R press, no water will come
That's on purpose, by the way.
out of Flood, which actually applies to the tank too, interestingly enough. Of course, if you
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for this, but I think saying hard R press is really funny and not acknowledging it ever. Oh, I spilled Diet Coke. Maybe this is karma for thinking that's funny. I only have like toilet paper for my nose, dude. Be right back, man. Okay. Oh yeah, so as I was saying, I've said this in a couple of videos. Oops. I knocked some hot sauce off of my shelf with my green screen Carolina Reaper sauce. It's not as spicy as it sounds. But yeah, I've used that term a couple times in a few videos. The first time when I wrote it, it wasn't initially on purpose, but then when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of weird. And then I decided to keep it because it's funny. Maybe that's not something I should find funny. I don't know. But I find it funny.
If you decide to press R all the way down, then the rocket will shoot off, predictably in the down direction. Same thing basically applies to both the turbo and rocket nozzles, except that the rocket nozzle won't do its job, which is to rocket Mario into the sky. I guess the rockets cancel each other out or something like that, which kind of makes too much sense. Oh yeah, and
That's totally not what's going on, by the way. That was just like a clever thing I came up with.
Small but interesting things.
This is the part of the video that's tacked on. These 2 small but interesting things that I just like forgot to add into the script or into the video until the very last minute.
I'm still stalling for Yoshi. One is that rockets will actually break against collision while still attached
Which is funny. It's like the first thing interesting I learned about rockets.
to the Flood. And 2 is that when rockets respawn, they'll usually do so with a weird skew for some reason. Look who finally decided to show up. Perfect timing too, I may add. Because just like with all the other nozzles, Yoshi's mouth can hold a water rocket too. The most interesting part about this is by applying the knowledge from the beginning of the video, we actually have a portable platform anywhere we want it, which I have to say,
I think that clip should have came after this one, right? That last clip, because I should first show off the standard use of a
could be
portable
a
platform.
really cool idea for a level on a ROM hack. Cloud Mario before Cloud Mario.
Well, I guess this is like Cloud Mario though, so I don't know.
Who would have thought? Well, that's all I have to show you about water rockets. If this outro seems abrupt to you, then maybe you should go on ahead and watch this video on the
Abrupt outros are the best thing for YouTube, generally speaking, because they end before the viewer clicks off. Like, I don't know about you, but I always click off of videos a little early because like I don't care about listening to the 10 seconds of outro most of the time, of like the YouTuber saying make sure to subscribe and follow my stuff or whatever, because you've heard that a million times. Generally speaking, it's a waste of time. So the meta, so to speak, of the YouTube algorithm is to abruptly end the video so that instead of clicking off, you get like the full watch time out of the user, basically, which in my opinion, it just means that you trim more fat out of the video and you get rewarded for it. So I think it's honestly like an okay strategy. There are a lot of strategies on YouTube that I find morally gray, at least. Sometimes some of the YouTube strategies feel more about like tricking people or hacking their brain, using their own psychology against them, which personally I don't like doing if I can help it. There's always going to be a part of that whenever you're doing something where you're fighting for attention, whether that's a market stall at the marketplace or a shop or YouTube thumbnails or whatever. You're always going to be fighting for attention and keeping that attention in any competitive space like this. So to some extent, there's always going to be that bit of psychological hacking, I guess. But basically where I draw the line is at the line of like, I don't know where I draw the line, honestly. I just do what feels right to me. I just do what to me feels like morally fine, and what I don't do what feels not morally fine. So maybe that's something I should give more thought, because maybe if I thought about some of this stuff, I could change my stance or whatever. I don't know. that was a kind of weird tangent at the end, but you know me, I go off into weird tangents all the time. So yeah, that's gonna be this creator commentary. Is there anything interesting else to show here? Probably not, honestly. So I might as well, let me pull up the script real quick. Oh yeah, you can even see, so sometimes this is something I started doing kind of recently-ish, where I'll write like the goal of the script to kind of keep the same, I guess, attitude and the same consistency of how I write the script and how I deliver it, even though usually there's a couple of days apart between, you know, writing the script and then even recording all of the lines. So this uses my current highlight workflow, I guess, which is that whenever I add in new parts to the script, I'll highlight them in green. And if I add even more new parts to a new part, then I'll highlight it in a darker green. Or I guess actually the different highlights is different like batches of re-recording. So the darker it is, the later I recorded that line. Let me see if I can look at the edit history here. This video released specifically on January 23rd. So yeah, you can see up till the 21st I was making changes, and this is oh yeah, so you can see this is where I was adding the last minute things about the skew and how the rockets will break against collision. So yeah, you can see me adding those last minute changes exactly how I remembered it. Oh, the kind of weird intro was done immediately. That's interesting. Oh hey, you get to see a note to self here. That's it. Why don't I check the scripts more often? This is pretty cool that I wrote a note to myself on return so that I remembered like the train of thought here. I actually kind of remember this night, like I felt really motivated coming into the script, and then like I very quickly ran out of energy. That happens sometimes with me. Oh yeah, okay, so here's that bit. Originally, this is how this part went. For instance, Poinks can't hurt Mecha Bowser, and Rockets won't wake up Pewdie. But can you wake up Wiggler with either Rockets or Poinks? No, but you can crash the game instead. Cool. So that's how that part of the script was originally going to look. And then it turned out that that's actually not what happens. And whatever happened to me that one time was either a fluke or just I misremembered. So that's what I came here specifically to see, but we saw some other cool stuff in the script. So maybe for future videos, I'll actually like look through the edit history to see if we can find more exciting stuff. All right, and finally for the thumbnail review. So a couple interesting things about this. This thumbnail is supposed to be seen at like this size. You don't see anything wrong with it clearly, but when it's real up close, you can see that I took this screenshot of the rocket from the plaza. So do I have that original picture? I don't think I do. Oh wait, I do here. It's this right here. But yeah, this is rocket right here is a screenshot taken directly from the plaza. There's a shadow here because I think, oh, I remember. Hold on, give me a second. Awesome. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I made a community post like teasing this, and this is like the image I made for the community post. And so obviously this is just a screenshot from in-game, except I cut the rocket out and added a drop shadow behind it just to make it pop out a bit more. But otherwise, minus the drop shadow, this is just an in-game screenshot. And this is the same rocket that ended up being used in the thumbnail here, and also being used as the outline for, you know, this rocket over here. Obviously, you can see like the bird through the rocket here. A couple of interesting things actually. Yeah, you can see the bird. You can also notice, so this is something I feel like is like really hard to notice unless you know exactly what rockets look like in Mario Sunshine. But the rockets actually don't have like a blue tint to them. I thought the blue tint made it look better, especially for the thumbnail. I ended up tinting it a bit blue, and I messed around a bit like with the opacity and a bunch of other stuff. It looks a little crusty on the edges because of that. But you know, again, when it's this big, you don't notice that. But yeah, that's this thumbnail. Oh yeah, you can actually see the color grading, right? So this is what the rocket originally would look like. Is it actually? I think so. Okay, this is what I did. I made it completely gray, and then I copied this part of the rocket pasted it on top, made it completely blue, and then made that transparent so that it just tints the rocket blue, basically. It's kind of like the weird steps you have to take in Paint.net because Paint.net isn't Photoshop. That's basically all I have to say about this video. Honestly, one of my favorites. It's in fact so much one of my favorites that it's when you're on my homepage. Wait, what? I thought when you're on my homepage, it automatically play. Yeah, it does.
Yo, water.
Why is it playing here, but not here? That's weird. Either way, yeah, it's like the autoplay video on my homepage because I think it's pretty cool. Although I do worry that the intro of this video is a little bit obnoxious and might turn people off from my channel. So who knows? Either way, it's time for the thumbnail pose. As always, get a real good look at my tangled and messy hair. That's awesome, man. Let's see, what can we do to make this unique? Sunglasses. That's what we're gonna do. Classic sunglasses over the eyeglasses look. Super reflective. No smile. Gotta look badass, obviously. Yeah, anyways, thanks everybody for watching. I super appreciate you guys being tier 2 members, especially because these videos have been not coming out as fast as they're supposed to be. It's supposed to be one a month, or well, there's supposed to be one per calendar month. I purposely worded that to give myself leeway so that I could be late and not like actually go against the deal, so to speak, but still feel like kind of not good to be behind on these. Either way, I'm super grateful, obviously, but yeah. If you didn't see it, I made a community post basically saying that if I don't get caught up on the creator commentaries by the end of February, then I'm gonna redo the tier 2 membership, take it down a couple of dollars, and probably just make it where these videos come out basically when they come out and not, you know, on a schedule. So I guess we'll see. Anyways, I've been yapping a lot, like hashtag yapping. So I'm gonna end the video after that shameful use of words. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching later. And make sure to brush your teeth, wash behind your ears. A lot of fatty acids can accumulate behind your ears. If you have long hair, use your shampoo on your scalp, not on your hair, because the shampoo will, when you're washing it out, will run down your hair anyways. And make sure to go to church if you're religious. I'm not, but so I don't know why I said that, but yeah.